Dear friends, welcome again to another reflection on the Gospel of this Sunday, the fifth Sunday of Lent, which is chapter 11 of St. John. The Gospel is the resurrection of Lazarus. This miracle for Jesus is the last one before his death, but is also one of the most determined or the most important, because after this miracle, the Pharisees have decided that Jesus has to go. He was getting too much glory. He was getting too much fame. He was getting too many people. And so for the salvation of the temple and salvation of their law, they had decided that Jesus had to go. Jesus was going to die because he was getting too much attention. He was getting too many people, and they were afraid to lose the power over the temple and over the people. So this miracle is very important because also Jesus shows with this miracle that he has power over death. And this is the greatest proof that he is really the Son of God. Because the prophets, yes, they had many gifts, many powers, but the important thing is that Jesus shows that he has power over death. He can control death. No one else but God can do that. So this miracle is, I will say, the completion, the final proof that Jesus is the Son of God. This miracle also comes in a form which is very beautiful. I think the story of Lazarus, Martha, and Mary is one of the most beautiful stories in the gospel. Story of friendship, story of intimate love, story of family life. Jesus is outside Bethania. Bethania was the town where the house of Lazarus was. And even if you go today to the same little town, they show you the house of Lazarus. You know what is inscribed on top of the house? It is written, a house of friendship. So Jesus hears, they tell him that Lazarus is very sick. Actually, the Lazarus has died. He waits for 2 days. Why doesn't he run? Why doesn't he go and do something for his friend Lazarus? He waits 2 days to make sure that Lazarus was really dead, and that people knew that for sure that Lazarus was already in the tomb. Imagine 4 days, the human body, especially in the warm weather, in 4 days the body starts decomposing. And as a matter of fact, in the gospel says that Martha says, Jesus, it smells awful. Don't open the tomb. So Jesus wants to make sure that people realize that Lazarus was dead, was not sleeping or not in coma. He was really dead because he was decomposed. So he goes to Bethany, and first of all, Martha runs to him. He doesn't not even wait until he gets to the house. She runs to Jesus out in the street and says, why didn't you come soon? Why didn't you come immediately? You could have stopped death. And Jesus tells her, don't worry. This is not for death, but it is for the glory of God. This death is going to show the mighty power of God, that God is acting also through his Messiah, the Christ. So then Martha runs back home and tells Mary that Jesus is coming. And actually, Martha tells Mary something beautiful, says, the teacher, the master is asking for you. Beautiful, delicate love of a sister who is helping her sister, Mary, to go to Jesus. And Mary naturally runs out and runs to the master that she loved so much. Remember, a few days before, she had gone to the house of Simon to anoint the feet of Jesus, to wash them with her tears and wipe them with her hair. So there is a beautiful relationship here between Martha, Mary, and Jesus. And Mary repeats almost the same thing that Martha said. Why didn't you come right away? You could have stopped death. You could have kept my brother alive. And here it says that Jesus was moved. Jesus cried. Imagine, in the gospel you only have two places where we see Jesus crying. This is the one, and the other is that Jesus cries over the city of Jerusalem, because he is predicting that Jerusalem was going to be destroyed, as actually it happened in the year 70 under the Emperor Titus. So Jesus is moved. You can see the love, the deep affection that Jesus has for Mary, for Martha. And he goes home, and he goes to their house, and he asks them, where is it? And here is Martha said, but Jesus, he smells. He's already decomposed. But he goes, show me the tomb. He goes in front of the tomb, and again he cries. 3 times he's moved to tears in front of their friends, especially in front of the tomb of Lazarus. And then with all his strength, with all his faith, he says, Lazarus, come out. And the man comes out, even though he's tied up in all the bandages of death. He comes out of the tomb. Incredible. Incredible that Jesus has the power to do that. And he says clearly, before shouting to Lazarus, he says, Father, I thank you because, says, you always listen to me, but also because I can show to them that you are sending the Messiah, salvation to his people. Beautiful scene of great love, great friendship. And it is also important to remember that Jesus began his ministry, public ministry, where? In Cana, at the feast of a wedding, feast of love, human love. Where does he end his public ministry? Here, in the house of friendship, the resurrection of Lazarus, where he shows his total divine love. Because Jesus not only has power over death, but he gives us eternal life. Even for Lazarus, he resurrected his body. But the most important thing is that Jesus gives eternal life. That's what Jesus told Martha and Mary. Don't you believe that I can give life and eternal life? They say, yes, we know. And then Jesus says the beautiful phrase, I am the resurrection and the life. So you see that this gospel is beautiful, very strong, and it's the final miracle of Jesus. So you remember that in the Last Supper, just before his death, Jesus gave us a long speech about love. He gave us his last testament. He told us, you have to love one another as I have loved you. The Old Testament, the law used to tell that we have to love one another as ourselves. But Jesus says, no, he says, you have to love one another as I have loved you. That means by giving your life totally to one another. So dear friends, beautiful miracle of power, beautiful miracle of resurrection, beautiful miracle of friendship. Can we build such a friendship in our homes? Can we build such a friendship in our communities? This is the power that we Christians have in front of the world. They will believe us only when we can put into practice this commandment, the only commandment that Jesus gave us. Love one another and love God with all your mind, soul, and heart. So dear friends, let us prepare. This is the last Sunday before the Holy Week. The last Sunday where we can really see the great love of Jesus for his friends, Lazarus, Martha, and Mary. God bless you.